For committee meetings for Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Start off with economic development. Economic development tourism. Good afternoon, good evening. 6:02, I would like to open up the Economic Development and Tourism Committee for this evening, and I would ask that James, the Director of Economic Development, do you have anything for us this evening, sir? For you items.
Hello, top of the evening. Is that how they said?
Top of the morning.
Just briefly, there are two resolutions in front of you, one of which is authorizing the travel to Washington DC for Amanda Karch. If you remember, the past few months, we've made Amanda Karch, who is the hired executive director of the Columbia Greene Workforce Development Board, a county employee. There's a series of agreements that historically the college and both counties and the board have come to recognize the employment of that position and how their payroll is administered and their benefits are administered. So a few months ago, the county agreed to be the employer of record for that position, in which case we provide all of the payroll administration, benefit administration, be 100% reimbursed from that workforce development board budget. But because she's technically an employee of the county, even for insurance sake, we have to go through all the measurements. So you'll see many resolutions come forward that require the legislature's authorization to allow her to travel, most of it with me or anybody else in any of the other departments. Just note that the expenses, unless chartered by the county, are covered by the Workforce Development Board. She's governed by that board. She's regulated by that board. She answers to that board. We are just literally the employer on paper. Just want to be able to clear that up as sort of this resolution comes through, and as future resolutions will come ahead as well. But that's the nature of the relationship. As far as economic development goes, recently the most grand announcements we've been able to have were that the Village of Catskill and $10 million as part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. The Village of Athens was awarded $12.5 million. It's the smaller counterpart program near Poland. We provide technical assistance to all the municipalities that wish to apply for this program. It's a coveted, competitive program. Our office has pretty good experience working within the confines of that program, what's really required of it. So we make ourselves available to any communities that would like any sort of technical assistance with those grant applications, any sort of public outreach you have to do. We try to make ourselves available. We did with both of those communities this year. So it's a good day when we can say that we brought $14.5 million to Greene. So we're going to work with the communities. There's the next step for both of them are the formation of what's called local planning committees. Essentially, the communities submit these applications to New York State. It goes through a scoring process. The state says, okay, we like the applications, we like the projects that are included in the application, and they say, congratulations, you've won. Go back to the drawing board, you do another open call for projects. That can include the original slate. It can open it up for more projects that weren't in the original call. So that's all led by the local planning committee, who will then go through all these projects, sift out the ones that are really the most viable, and include those in an unranked slate back to the state. And then they will, the state will then score the projects, come back in about a year and a half, tell us what funds are funded, and then it goes to implementation. So it's not uncommon for county planning or economic development directors or some representative of their departments or anybody from the legislature to be tapped to serve on those committees. I would love to be able to provide any sort of technical assistance I can as a seat on those committees, but we'll see. On the legislators for those communities who may or may not be getting calls. happy to answer any questions. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
I'd like to look at a new building up there too. Our new building.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good idea. When we put the dormers on, it looks a heck of a lot better than that in town.
We'll move right into the proposed action items. Number one, authorizing out-of-state travel, Greene County Economic Development, Tourism and Planning. Andy Karch, Director of Workforce Development.
Handle?
Approved. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? These are none, so carried. Reappointing members to the board of Greene County Economic Development Corporation. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? These are none, so carried. If there's no other business to be brought before.
Daryl, we have April here for the idea.
The idea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm here. I'll keep it quick so you can.
Every time first.
So, I'm just here to give you a little bit of an update. I was asked some questions about the hotel. We still have the hotel. We are working through the process, with DEC to get the final permit in place, and the hotel is getting their final permit from the planning board, hopefully April, May. So, I can give you some, some data. The IDA thought that we would be grandfathered in, based on the 2016 establishment of Leeds Sewer District. Town and village spent 14 million on that. There was a hotel there at the time. Then we learned we would not be able to just hook up. So we hired Delaware Engineering to do the 750 application. I believe I reported that last time I was in. So we went through that. So from about March 2024 to September 2024, we were working it out with DEC. They did come back to us with a large ask. Right now, the county and the IDA have about 10 million into that area between the new park, Gateway Greene, with Stewards, the hotel, and the restaurant pad, and then the 60 acres down the road. So without being able to hook up for any sewer, all economic development would come to a standstill. So we asked, what other mitigation can we do? Right now, there's 2 projects that are going to be, kicking off with the village that will mediate some of that, and the IDA will be putting in some money to help assist with that. So without all those current investments, like I said, everything's stranded, everything's up in the air, but the hotel has never wavered. They're still here. They're answering all the final questions for the planning board. Like I said, so hopefully April, May, that'll get all finalized. We're encouraging the planning board the IDA is encouraging the planning board to do a provisional permit for their site plan application based on us getting our permit with DEC. So by May, I should have final answers for everybody, getting the shovel in the ground. But as you've seen, coming off that exit, we do have the tourism center being built. Stewart's is doing very well there. The road was finalized and deeded over to the county. Beljar, right down the street, has started more activity there. Camptown's doing very well. So hopefully we'll just keep riding this out to be very positive. I spoke to the hotel developer today. Their funding is in place. Their contractors are ready to build.
April, do you have a time, did they give you a time frame of construction once
I
they?
asked for a schedule. So once we get that April or May, I know they're trying to get into the April cycle with the planning board. I'll get a schedule of we're putting the shovel in the ground. This is how long it takes to build. We finished the natural gas line, so that's stubbed out. So once they're shelled in, we can connect that. But I will, as soon as I get that schedule, I can forward it.
No, I would, well, as you work through getting permits from DEC and you've got these projects the village might do to help mitigate that, why wouldn't the hotel be allowed to kick off? So by the time the hotel is ready to start flushing toilets,
That's what we're
that
hoping.
part's done. Is that
We've been kind
plausible?
of trying to negotiate and talk like that for a little while, but yes, it will be possible. That's why we're asking for a provisional permit that they can kick off. Their site plan's approved, they're ready, all the engineering will be final, and then, we'll get that permit in
What's
place.
the value on that hotel?
I don't know the final value. I have.
I'm just wondering if anybody's gonna base off a provisional, permit
No.
before it's legalized. I'm not sure I would put the money out myself.
They've been putting money out. All their engineering is done now. They had to change their site plan. They had to rotate the building, the block. So they're invested. Their money is being spent and they're gonna see it out with us. We're ready. Anything else?
Any word on the, so of course, the restaurant is after the hotel.
Yep.
Any discussions with any potential restaurant?
Talking with economic development, they have some ideas of what we would like to see there. And as soon as the hotel starts building, I'll be putting signs right on the, like for sale, land opportunity, things like that,
Oh,
like I did up in Colorado. So that's it on the hotel.
does the hotel have any, like a national chain restaurants that come along with them?
I did ask the developer, not just, the developers work with other restaurants, so he might have a few ideas too. And if you want me to market to certain chains, I can do that too.
No, just asking the question where we are on it, that's all.
No, I need to make sure that I can buy credits so I can get the restaurant that does the hotel.
What do you anticipate with these DEC permits?
Well, as we looked at the numbers, again, and the data, we asked the hotel to rerun the numbers and Delaware Engineering reviewed them. Originally, the report back in 2016, when LEED was created, only had the hotel at 1,920 gallons needed per flow. They really need about 10,000 gallons per flow. So we have to mitigate now that 8,000. We thought it was gonna be bigger, but we have to mitigate the 8,000 gallons per day. So whatever the village comes to with pricing on those projects, we're thinking less than 100,000. The original mitigation was at 500,000, which would kind of blow up the pro forma. But at 100,000, that's a little bit more doable. And we'd like to see the projects done instead of a temporary fix. So after negotiating and going back to the drawing board with Delaware Engineering and DEC, I think we're at a really good point
So
of getting that done.
we've had some discussion with people in our community, Catskill, about the EPA and DEC. So who's really controlling this? Is it the EPA declaration that's,
The EPA
With-
has to be
with-
involved because of the overflow
okay,
So
but
there's
that's the main
capacity.
issue.
within the system. We've been told by Delaware Engineering, there is extra capacity. We haven't hit that, but it's like if we have a heavy
Sure,
rainfall.
sure.
Right, so the I&I, influx and infiltration. The IDA did something similar when we built the business parks up in Coxsackie. They weren't at the point where we could hook up any of these new businesses. So we put money into helping with the fix of that overflow. So it'll be similar to that.
When did the IDA learn about this?
About March 2024, we were told we weren't gonna be able to hook up. Well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We were gonna be told that we had to start the process of the application, that we weren't just gonna be able to just hook up. So as I said, we felt in the report and the studies and the capacity, we should be grandfathered in. There was a hotel there. We're putting in a similar room hotel. There was a 100-seat, 200-seat restaurant. We're putting in a restaurant. But because of the discrepancy in what was in the report of that 1,920 and what we really need, now we've learned that we have to do the mitigation. So from between May and when we hired Delaware Engineering, then they had to do additional studies. So that report was, it was finalized in October of 2024.
Does DEC get to tell the EPA what to do, or does
No, the
EPA?
EPA tells the DEC what to do.
Okay, so they're in charge.
Yeah, I would like
So
to
if
think
the
it's a
EPA were to
partnership.
tell them that, Village of Catskill is moving forward, let's get this hotel going or whatever.
Right, but also, we don't want to cause problems in the system where we're overflowing either, you know what I mean? So we'd like to get it all fixed. Yes, the village and the town have 20 million in grants coming up for the separation of all this. They've been working on it diligently. So they're gonna be completed probably by 2030. And then they're probably will be, well, that's when everything will be finished.
Yeah, but we don't,
Right, the village, it's the
the
village.
village,
They've
okay.
updated the system.
But what about out by interchange?
No, we're going to be buying credits based on the two projects that are coming up.
Okay.
Well, even the original date, so the hotel getting in the ground, there were already delays, and we thought they'll be up, built by 2026. We thought the village would be done by 2027, 2028, so 2 years temporary tank, okay, maybe, but then they had to do other studies, and their completion deadline is now 2030. So we do have to mitigate now.
Well, my concern is that you came here last fall and said we were breaking ground in spring of 2025. You gave
I
us
understand the
this,
concerns.
you gave us this flyer about, what was happening.
Yeah.
And then we find out about these DEC permits a couple months ago, when the IDA knew about this a couple years ago.
No, I wouldn't say a couple years ago. We found out about it in March. We started working on it right away.
I have documentation that goes back before March. So that we didn't know about, I know about it now. It would have been nice when you came here the last time to tell us that.
I did. I mentioned that we hired Delaware Engineering to do a 750 application.
I don't recall you telling us about these DEC permits that were here.
I brought up the I&I issue at that time. Because when I said I&I, I was asked what I&I stands for. Matt, everything
Well,
is being delayed, but it's not in my
Seems-
control. So every time I get a hiccup, I work on the
Right,
next
this
fix.
property was our property that we turned over to the IDA for
You
development,
want to go all the way back to 2016? Yes.
right? We turned it over to
You-
the IDA to get it developed, and here it is now, 2025. We're still having the same discussions.
Okay, so in 2016, yes, you took it in REM. It was turned over to the IDA. We had to wait, I think, about 2 years in litigation. My attorney worked on that. So the IDA is out those legal fees. So in 2018, we finally get the okay to go forward, we can demolish. Meantime, the IDA is also working with the Thruway to purchase land. That took 2 years to buy the extra land where Stewart's.
We're well aware of all that.
Okay, so, but you're acting like no development has happened since 2016.
I'm acting that this DEC permit should have been forthcoming to us a long time ago before,
But we thought we were gonna be able to hook up.
I don't think that message was relayed
To whom?
to this legislative body and to the general public that has been waiting patiently for this hotel,
Okay,
period.
not exactly sure how to answer your question, Matt. I can't go back in time and fix the DEC and the sewer issues. I'm fixing it now. We're mitigating now.
I hope so. I hope so.
So moving forward, is it possible to get monthly updates on?
All of my notes are in the minutes that we send over every month. So when
Could you come over and actually give us an
Yes.
update?
I can come every month if you need me to.
That's
Something,
right.
right?
I mean, that would be, thank you. Is there any other questions?
Yeah. Hey, but what about the truck stop curbside?
Where about was the truck stop?
Wasn't there a truck company coming in, or they were gonna build a truck stop?
James might know more about it. It's not an IDA project. So the land near Camptown, or I mean, Camping World, that was under discussion, but I don't know about it going forward. I know that the current truck stop is, working on their sewer issue. I see it being constructed on the side there.
Yeah, what are they building there?
At the current truck stop, I think they have to fix and remedy their issue that they don't have sewer.
So they can have their little.
So they're fixing that.
That's what a package plan.
Yeah, that's why they shut down the hotel.
Yeah.
We lost the hotel. With sewage issues. James, any word from you on was it pilot? Do we remember it was hoping to maybe go in there?
There was a few chains that were, we had lots of, we got fire and gloves. You know, water, you want to there. But like most developments, it's reliant on the expansion of water and sewer. That's over the throughway, we can't get water to sewage easily. Yeah.
So they need them.
But I am still speaking with them.
April, the old Sable Lot building, I know that was purchased by a
Win
developer.
Stanley. So Win Stanley Investment, has been upgrading the inside of the lights, they painted, they redid the entire parking lot, it's all complete. I actually just spoke to Adam Win Stanley last week, because there was a lead that came down from the state, seeing if they could, subdivide. They have a lot of leasing interests, either for the whole building, or they said they would only subdivide it once, so 150,000 square feet on each side. And I asked him to keep me updated on who might be going in there.
Okay. But still, it's still a refrigerated warehouse.
They do have large sections of refrigeration and freezer space, off to the left side, so they have that capacity. We were looking at something smaller for a couple of panel companies coming in, but they're not gonna subdivide down to like 10,000 square feet.
Sure.
They have a dry storage area too, right?
What is it?
Dry storage, I think they got.
Oh, yeah. The whole rest of the warehouse, dry storage, so. I wanna say it's like 60,000, 230.
Well, the old Dyna building, anything?
The one next to you,
Pardon me?
the one
Yeah.
next to you. I know the realtor is working on trying to find somebody in there, yes, but I don't know if they've, caught up on their taxes yet either.
They still have a tax bill due.
Is there any other questions for April at this time?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Further questions?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, be there none? So closed.
Thank.
Hey, good evening. Like to open government operations at 6:25. We have 3 resolutions before us tonight. I just want to say that I'm just absolutely shocked by our governor's vindictiveness towards the COs that work for this county. Absolutely unbelievable. And we have to stand up for them. These are our neighbors, our friends, our families. So, just disappeared on me there. There we go. Sorry, I lost my screen for a minute. I don't know what I hit. Okay, so the first action item is a resolution opposing New York State Governor Hochul's executive order number 47 6.3 concerning county hiring of former employees of New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, and I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second it.
O'Connell.
Second it all.
O'Connell.
Committee, second.
Oh, committee, that'd be nice.
And I would, you know, what, let me just add to this one little bit here, is that because this, in taking away their certification, it winds up costing us more money to hire. Because then they have to go through training that they've already been through, and they lose that certification. As you said, just to be vindicated. So that's why the presentation forward.
Has any of your labor, ACLU and all of these type of groups that usually sue an employer, the state of New York? Have they filed any suit against the governor?
Among counties, there are suits that have been filed.
Counties are going to be.
Not counties, actual, these groups
I've only
that,
seen counties, I haven't seen an ACLU or anything like that. I haven't seen it.
I don't know where it winds up. But they're out there.
My understanding
I've
is
seen
the
Chemung
the
County.
existing executive order will expire on April 9th. What I don't know is how does that mean to the impact of the language that tied into civil service law and the ability to suppress their ability to work someplace else. I mean,
Well, and their certification as a peace officer.
correct, and that's the key term right there, is they're lost with the peace officer stats.
That's huge.
Without that, they can't. Well, right now, they couldn't get any job in local government, period.
Okay, so I have a first and many seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Number 2, authorizing chargeback of assessment role-related services and materials, 2025 senior exemption, second notice. Martinez and O'Connor and Legg.
Can I just ask a question about this, Mr. Chairman? This seemed like it was awfully high. Is that normal for the most part?
It was lower than
Oh, it was
last year
lower than
because we had one less town.
Okay.
You gotta remember, this is a town responsibility. We took it on to realize the savings to towns.
Right.
It's really the towns that are required to do this mailing. Wyndham, Carroll dropped out last year, Wyndham dropped out this year. They're doing it on their own. The increase per town, if you were looking at it in that regard, is postage. You gotta remember postage.
Yeah, right. I knew the
USPS
postage, but-
went way up this year.
Are these going out first class?
We get bulk rates, I'd have to look at a card to tell you the truth. But we're getting bulk rate.
Okay, it was 52 cents. Each one.
Yeah, that's less than right now.
Yeah, 55 cents as a postcard rate.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Opposed?
Number 3, authorizing chargeback of assessment role-related services and materials, 2025 tax bills.
Martinez.
Martinez, I'll second that.
Can I just ask a question on this as well? And I guess again to Ray. The resolution shows charges for mailing town tax bills. Yes?
A county count tax bill.
Well, it doesn't say county, and that's where my problem comes in with most of this, is that, well,
Well,
it's
there
split this cost.
again, Pat, these are town tax bills. It's their responsibility to mail a tax bill.
Right? And do we not share services?
They
By
are,
doing this?
they are required to put the county tax on their county tax bill.
Right.
Well, we're charging.
And we could go like many other counties and pass it off to the towns, tell them to do it, and I'll gladly send them the tax rates and take it off my plate.
But didn't our real property services have an issue when they did that? They were all using different software programs and it was hard.
No,
for you guys to keep up on the assessment side?
We've always done the work. We did not do the town tax processing in-house. We used a different vendor at one point in time. In my term as director, we bought that processing in-house. The towns are no longer spending that cost with an outside vendor. The only costs they're paying are the actual physical costs to mail that tax bill and print the tax roll. We, the county, are paying what they used to pay a service provider for from the mid-1990s to 2016.
Then charging it back to them.
Because we pay for it. But we're not charging them back. We're not charging them back the service that they were paying for from a different provider. The actual process, the actual creation of those files to print the bill and possibly mail the bill. That was another thing we took on by taking on the mailing expense and paying for it up front. And that we reduced their mailing costs. They're no longer using metered mail, they're paying bulk rate. Their efficiencies went way up.
Okay, so we have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
Is there anything else to come before government operations tonight?
If not, Mr. Chairman, I will call for adjournment.
Okay. First and a second.
Is that okay?
I need a second.
I'll second.
Oh, I thought you made the motion.
Rivera, then.
File. No, for the call.
Oh, well. We're gonna have to slap him on the story. Yeah, right.
All set.
Okay, we'll call finance committee to order. Several, agenda items. First, agenda item is the amending resolution 459-24, authorizing Greene County Culture Fund contracts. Drew?
Davis.
David seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's carried. Number two is accepting formal proposal for the removal of trees necessary for the county Route 61 bridge replacement project in the town of New Baltimore. Drew and Mr. Linger, chairman, second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Three is authorizing purchase of two 225 regular cab Ford F600 XL trucks with dump bodies and plows through the New York State Office of General Service. I'd like to propose that.
Second.
Second. Mr. Chairman? All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's carried. Number four, authorizing extension of contracts for the operation of household hazardous waste collection events.
Right.
Buellage.
Blake, Buellage seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Number five, authorizing supplemental agreement, number one, for the completion of the Casco Transfer Station residential drop-off infrastructure project. Come on,
Buellage.
Casco.
Yeah.
Buellage,
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Number six, authorizing supplemental agreement number one for the electrical contract for the Casco Transfer Station residential drop-off infrastructure project.
Buellage.
Village. Nito, Lieutenant, second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's also carried. Number seven, authorizing supplemental agreement number one for the removal and reconstruction of the tipping floor at Casco Transfer Station. Rivera. Rivera.
Buellage.
Village seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, that's also carried. Number eight, authorizing purchase of one new 23 wheel loader.
Buellage.
Mr. Buellage.
Davis.
Mr. Davis seconded. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, that's also carried. Number nine, authorizing agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services, Aging, and Columbia County Community Healthcare Consortium, Inc. for New York Connect. Excuse me. Who put, who,
True, right.
Mr. Blake, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. 10, authorize agreement with Greene County Community Service Board and Cambridge Brain Science, Inc. and budget amendment.
Davis.
Mr. Davis.
True.
Drew, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Number 11, authorize agreement Greene County Mental Health and Coordinated Care Services, Inc.
Bueller.
Mr. Bueller.
Linger.
Mr. Linger, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Number 12, approving related service provider contract preschool special education program.
True.
Drew, Davis, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's also carried. Number 13, authorize agreement Greene County Public Health and Grand Canyon University.
Davis.
True.
Davis, Drew, seconded. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's also carried. 14, authorizing out-of-state travel, Greene County Economic Development, Tourism Planning, Amanda Karch, Director of Workforce Development.
Aye.
Blake, who seconded? All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's also carried. 15, authorizing out-of-state travel, Laura Churchill and Wendy Johnson, Greene County Family Planning.
Davis.
Davis,
Linger.
Linger, seconded. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 16, appointing member, Community Service Board.
Aye.
Blake,
Bueller.
Bueller, Mr. Davis seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. Number 17, authorizing chargeback assessment roll, related services and materials, 25 senior exemption, second notice.
Davis.
Mr. Davis,
Bueller.
Bueller seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 18, authorizing chargeback of assessment roll, related service materials, 25 tax bills.
Davis.
Bueller.
Davis, Bueller seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. Number 19, budget amendment, insurance recovery, Greene County Sheriff.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Lemudo.
Mr. Bueller, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. 2024 budget amendment and amending resolution number 375-24, authorizing purchase of tire shredder.
True.
True.
Bueller.
Bueller seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. 21 budget amendment, insurance recovery, solid waste, Martinez.
Bueller.
Bueller seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. 22 authorization paid claims, highway.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Davis.
Mr. Davis seconds it. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Oh, that's also carried. Number 23 is authorization paid claims. I'll take that. Who'd like to second it?
Davis.
True, Mr. Davis. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. That's all the resolutions. Treasurer's report, we have with us tonight, or treasurer, Valentine.
Well, we some people come up with nothing under finance, like a letter from NISAC, a letter to the governor for, I guess to slow down the rapid act. Which is the act that they signed into law to put alternative energies in place, and to slow that whole thing down. So I'm gonna sign us on to that.
Good evening, everybody.
evening.
Always a pleasure to be here. We got a pretty brief report tonight. Payments on delinquent taxes. In summary, the collection of delinquent taxes for February 25 totaled $171,679.03 compared to $283,835.72 in February of 24, a decrease of $112,156.89. Year-to-date payments for 2025 collections are $789,333.75 compared to $720,866.45 in 24, or an increase of $68,467.30. Greene County delinquent taxes, in summary, the amount due to Greene County for delinquent taxes as of February of 25 is $7,604,000, $970.27, compared to $6,568,313.26, or an increase of $1,036,657.01. Sales tax received to date for 25 is $7,557,974.44, compared to $6,939,634.74, or a 2024 increase this year of $618,339.70, or 8.91%. Greene County town collection status. Total due from towns for collections this year will be $36,879,474.29. Payments received from towns for current tax receipt totals to date, $14,261,068.69. So we are positively trending, especially with sales tax. We have sent out our notices regarding delinquent taxes. So the office is getting busy with people responding to those delinquent tax notices, which is what we hope to see. So some more of those come in for payment, much better solution than foreclosure. So we're going to continue to pursue that. Our summary for our top 25 has not changed. That didn't change from last month. If you recall, we did have number 3 paid last month. So we haven't had a lot of change there. The other numbers I gave you are more up to date. I have been active this past month looking at some of our finances. I've made a small change that is going to increase our return on some of our assets by approximately 2.72%. That's going to generate for us, without taking any additional risk, I'm going to generate an extra $250,000 in interest for us. Most of that will be booked for the 2025 budget, and a small amount will be prorated into 2026. So we're beginning to make some progress on our interest rates as well. Anybody have any questions?
Keith, once the taxes are delinquent, do the payments come directly to the county, or do they still go to the town?
No, they're coming to the county, and with few exceptions. I believe there was a short period of time where there was some delinquency where school taxes still had to be paid to the school collectors.
Okay.
But at this point, the process is the county. Okay.
I believe it's 2 months after you delinquent, more than 2 months, right? It's turned over to the.
So, and the tax department within the treasurer's office is doing a very good job. It's a heavy lift. It's a heavy lift. Anybody else have anything else?
Thank you, Keith.
Great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else come before finance?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Close.